I'm live. This is fabulous. Hello, beautifuls. Here we go. I think that's working. Hope you can see me. Welcome to my kitchen. And today I'm going to be making some raw chocolate. And all of you guys, I posted about a week or two ago, I'd made a huge bunch of raw chocolates for Christmas presents, and I posted them on Facebook, and a whole bunch of you were like, how do you make that? So this is where I'm going to show you how to make it. So I'm actually saying this for those of you that are watching on a record, because there's no one here right now, absolutely no one. And loads of people asked me to do this, so I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to film it as I go. So, yeah, hope you like my kitchen, by the way. This used to be a hotel villa, and there was no kitchen in here at all. This was just like a mop cupboard. So we kind of made it into a cozy little space. So what we're going to start with, we want some ingredients, okay, guys? We want some raw cacao butter. And it looks like this when you get it in big chunks. You can buy it in all different kinds of sizes and different containers and stuff. But essentially, I get all of my stuff from Detox Trading. They are fabulous. They're in the UK. Unfortunately, they don't deliver to Europe anymore, so I have to go to the UK to get them, or get my friends to send them over to me. But what we're going to do is, first of all, we have to melt this butter to get our base, and to do that, hope you can see this over here, I have a saucepan that's got about 1.5 inches of water in the bottom. I'm just gently heating that up, and I have a bowl, and it doesn't really matter if you've got a metal bowl or a ceramic bowl or whatever, but you want to make sure you've got a nice big one so that when you're stirring it around and adding your ingredients, you've got a lot of space. So I'm just heating up the bowl, because as you should know, you don't mix chocolate and water, so you don't want to put the chocolate in the hot water. It's a mess. It's not how to do it. Or even directly into the saucepan. I would avoid doing that. Someone's joined live. Hello. So when you do join live, just give us your name, say hi, say where you're watching from. Because I had a whole bunch of people saying, show me how to make raw chocolate. And I said, all right, I'll show you. You've been asking me for years and years how I do my chocolate. Some people say I make the best chocolate on the planet. I don't know, it's a matter of taste. But if you're watching, then just say where you're coming from, where you're watching from. And if you've got your ingredients and everything sorted, or if you're just one of these people that says, okay, I'm actually not ready, Tara. Andrew Davis from Glastonbury, thanks for joining me, man. Did you know that this was happening, Andrew? Were you one of the people that asked me to do this, or have you just randomly found me? So what I'm going to do, my knife isn't actually big enough. What I'm trying to do, I'm going to show you down here. I had a bit of an issue in this tiny kitchen trying to figure out how to show you. So what I'm doing is just getting my raw chocolate butter, which is delicious, really sweet, really yummy, and I'm just chopping it up. And you can have bigger chunks. You can shave it down quite small like I'm doing it. And I'm just going to go and get another knife, because the one that I got is not actually big enough. Here we go. This is what you want. Be careful with your knives. I've never done a cooking show before, by the way, in my life ever. Paul Silver, happy Christmas, my love. Good to see you here. Have you all got, oh, so Andrew, you just popped up on your phone that I was live. Oh, so cool. Well, the thing is, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, there was nobody actually watching. I was just chatting to myself, feeling like a bit of a plonker, because loads of people actually asked me if I could show them how I make my raw chocolate. And I was like, you know what? People have been asking me for years. I'll show you how to do it. And then when I'm like thinking, okay, everyone's asked, they're all going to hop on with their pans ready and their chocolate ready, it's like, there was no one there. So I'm super glad that you guys are joining me. Now, are you actually making chocolate, or are you just here to hang out? Because you should know me, I do things everything's a bit of a life lesson with me. My kids moan about that all the time, like, Mum, this is not a coaching moment, you're just making chocolate. Well, I'm like, yes, it is a coaching moment. It's a spiritual life lesson moment, is making chocolate. Okay, have you got your saucepans? You're not at the moment. Okay. So, Paul, are you making chocolate with me, Paul? I hope you are. So, it's going to take a while. I'll probably be here for about half an hour, by the way, because I will not like blue pleater. I didn't have it all set up to begin with. We got some water. It's actually boiling in there now, so I'm going to turn it right down. I've got it on like 2 there, just to keep it warm, because you just want the bowl warm. Now, if you're a proper raw chocolate or raw person rather, and you don't have any food that's heated above body temperature, then you're going to need a thermometer. But I love my raw chocolate, and I have been raw, but I'm not strict. In fact, I'm not raw at all anymore. I used to be. So I don't really care what temperature it is. And by the way, those of you who are going, okay, how much are you putting in there, Tara? I don't know. We're just making it up as we go along, because that's how I do everything. And it always works out perfectly, because I'm using my intuition, going with the flow. I'm tasting things as I go along. I'm looking at it to see how it looks. So I don't actually own a set of scales. I don't think I've ever owned kitchen scales. And I'm nearly 50 years old. And I raised 2 very strong, healthy boys who love their mummy's cooking. So it is literally, maybe it's because I'm an Aquarian. I just make stuff up as I go along. Most of the time it works out, I have to say. Oops, nearly chopped my fingernail off. Okay, I'm just going to show you what I'm doing down here. Chopped up some more. So what we're going to do, we've got more people joining. Hey, let me know where you're joining from. And if you've got your saucepan and your chocolate making kit ready. Now, it depends on how much. Look, I'm going to have to carry the laptop over here and show you. That's how much I've got in the bottom of a bowl. Now, I think you just want to keep chopping up your raw cacao butter. Mine comes from Detox Trading. It looks like this. It is delicious. It's great for massaging. You can actually eat it like that and make some white chocolate. But put in as much as you want to make in terms of chocolate. Now, I'm going to do one more chunk, I think, because it's Christmas and, you know, always eat a little bit more chocolate at Christmas. And so I'm just chopping it up into, it's quite cool, you know, when you chop it, it kind of flakes. It's really cool. So you just chop it up. And Paul, you're getting stoned watching one of your oldest friends get my appetite going. Oh. For all of you watching, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Paul Silver was a boy in school, and he made such an impression. I was like 9 years old, Paul. It was like the second from the top infants, however old that is. And I remember Paul was a new boy. He walked in one day. He was the tallest boy, and he was so handsome. And he walked past my desk, and to get his attention, I kicked him. And he went, fuck off. I was like, oh, he's a bad boy. Well, the teacher ended up moving him opposite my desk, and used a little play footsie under the table, pretending, you know, we didn't really like each other. And then Paul was so naughty. Hope you don't mind me telling everyone this this story, Paul. Paul was so naughty. He was always getting chucked out of lessons, and especially the television lessons. You remember those? I don't know, you guys, you're in my kind of age group, and used to have telly classes, and the whole class would go in and watch some enormous, great big old box and watch something really boring. And Paul was always so naughty, he got kicked out. And it was interesting because on those days, I would find little love notes in my lunch box that said, "Love from the Hulk." I don't know why I told everyone that for. Well, and you're the reason, because you used to support Liverpool football team. So you're the reason I started supporting Liverpool football team. Anyway, and they're doing really well at the moment. So look, I've got tons and tons. And of course now I am deliriously happily in love and living, not with Paul Silver, my 9-year-old schoolboy love, but I'm living in the south of France. Right, so this is now just melting. And the thing is, right, because you're not cooking it, you don't want it to just like be super hot and do it really fast. Let me show you my saucepan. There you go. I'm going to have to hold. I wasn't prepared, you see. I'm not a Facebook or a YouTube chef. You're just gently melting it. So I've got it turned right down. You just want the pan warm. And we got loads of time because you're not in a hurry, because this is a bit of a magical process. It's nice, isn't it? I hope that little love story has made your hearts go all aglow, because you want to put loads of love into this chocolate. Right, so I think we're done with that. And what I do as well, and I do recommend doing this, depending on what kind of chocolate you like. So I don't have a recipe because everyone's got their own different chocolate taste. So you're going to make this according to your taste. I don't know if anybody on here live is actually making chocolate. If you're watching live, please give me a shout out. Tell me your name. Tell me where you're from. And if you're actually making chocolate with me, or if you're just here to get entertained and listen to your spiritual chocolate making lesson. So I'm going to add some, this is raw coconut oil. Huile vierge means virgin oil, and that's French. And it's basically cold pressed, untreated, organic, bio coconut oil. And you don't get the coconut oil that doesn't have any coconut flavour because it's been heat treated. And it's great for roasting potatoes on Christmas Day, but it's not great for putting in chocolate. So if you like your chocolate like I do, where that little bit extra melty in the mouth, and it will melt easier in your fingers, and you don't mind a little bit of coconut flavour, it's very subtle, just plonk a great big chunk like that in. I would say if you put a little bit, you get it a little bit melty. Put a lot in, you get a lot more melty, and it still goes solid, but it will melt faster. So it depends on the texture of the chocolate that you like. If you like yours really crisp and you like to keep it in the fridge and you don't like it melty, then don't put coconut butter in, okay? Coconut oil. So I love it. I'm going to chuck in a little bit more. And what's really cool about using everything that's raw and natural is like literally you can just rub in any extra on your hands and they have beautiful looking hands. Yes, I did remember Paul, my goodness. I remember lots of things from my childhood. Who else is watching? Give me a shout out. Let me know where you're watching from and if you're making chocolate. So we've got the oils. Now let's go. I'll go and show you again. We've just got the little oils. Bear with me while I tip up my very new expensive MacBook Pro. So we're just gently melting that. Okay. I'm going to pop you back up here. I had to build a little stack with some empty cardboard boxes and a few other things on top of each other in order to put you up there. So bear with me. I'm going to get some salt. And are you like, blech, salt in chocolate? I'm going to say, yeah, man, salt in chocolate. So, of course, again, this is down to your taste. I used to use pink Himalayan salt in all my chocolate. I don't have it at the moment, but what I do have is pure sea salt, and it's fine. You want to use fine salt unless you really like salt person and you like crunching into chunks of salt in your chocolate. Some people might like that. I don't like that. So I use very fine sea salt, and I just use like a pinch, in fact, pinch and a half. And we're going to taste it later so you can see if it's salty enough for you. But my Phil loves salty chocolate. So I put in a little bit extra for him. That is melting really brilliantly. Okay, so in the meantime, whilst that's melting, put in the chocolate in the oil first. Also, what we're going to do is I've got a whole bunch of different nuts and stuff. So whilst we're waiting for that to melt, see, I'm not even thinking about the chocolate powder at the moment. We're just going to quickly just chop up some nuts. What do you like in your chocolate? Like me, I like it just as it is. I like the fruit and the nut part. It's all right. It's, you know, whatever. But me, I just like mine really, really dark, not very sweet, and a little bit melty with the coconut. But my man likes it with all the chunks in it, so I just chop up some like chunky Brazils at the moment. I've also got some pecans already chopped up. And if you're in Europe, by the way, I'm not an affiliate, but Nuts in Bulk do fantastic, good quality, very inexpensive bulk order foods, and they deliver really quickly as well. So, and I've got some pecans, some cashews here, and I also got some dried mulberries, which are absolutely delicious. So that oil is melting really, really well now. You ever tried dried mulberries, these little berries? I like toffee, absolutely delicious. And I have some Goji Berries. So that's what I'm putting in my chocolate today, but I'm going to do both. I'm going to first, before I put in all these nuts and stuff, I'm going to tip the chocolate whilst it's just still plain into some molds, save half of it, that's why I've made a bigger chunk, save half of it, and then put all the nuts and stuff in. So I don't have to make two different bowls. I'm just going to use the same bowl. So perhaps you've got your ingredients. Anybody there cooking along with me or preparing? Nope, no one's cooking with me, you're just hanging out. Well, thank you for hanging out and keeping me company. I thought there'd be loads of people on here with all of their cooking pots already. That's what I thought. But anyway, if you're one of those people and you asked me to teach you to make your chocolate, you didn't show up live, that's all I can say. Well, at least I'm here, hanging out with you guys. So, no, we're not going to put those in just yet. We'll wait. This is almost melted. I love this. So, just do it really nice and slowly. Now, why is this a cosmic spiritual teaching moment? Well, for me, this liquid, it's golden. It's like liquid gold. Once it's melted, this cacao butter, and I have to say, if you're really into massaging, or you just have really dry skin, or you just love chocolate and you just want a bit of a pamper, you can usually buy this in your local health food store. I buy mine in bulk because I use a lot of it. And you can literally just use it like a massage bar. You can just rub it all over your skin. And then smell absolutely gorgeous. And it's so thick that, but also really light. It's like quite non-greasy. It's a fantastic moisturizer. Anyway, I've gone off on one about skincare. But what's so good about this stuff? It's like alchemy, right? It's like making magic here. Because I'll show you, once it melts, wonder if you've got, oops, I've put your comment on Paul by accident. It's got a little bit of the bubbly film on the top, but it's all golden, liquid gold. And this to me, I've had some more people join, hello. This to me is like spirit. It's like the beautiful, heavenly, angelic, spiritual energy. And when I see the angels, or when I see people's angelic field, because everybody has one, it's just whether you're in it or not in it, whether you're embodying it or not embodying it, but everybody has an angelic energy field, and it's absolutely golden light, pure golden, absolute love, just like the sunshine. When the sun's going down and you just get that golden time and everything goes golden, it's like that. So beautiful. All right, that has melted. And then we're alchemy, because these things used to be one thing. Cacao butter and cacao powder used to be a cacao bean, obviously. This stuff comes from Peru. And the cacao beans were actually traded as currency. They were so valuable, and people considered chocolate literally to be the food of the gods, that the little cacao beans that grow in South America, that was their currency. And I can understand why, because when you see them, they're just, they've got powerful energy. And this is why we don't cook them, because chocolate is actually raw chocolate straight from the cacao bean is one of the most nutrient-rich foods on the planet, and it's particularly high in magnesium, and most people are super magnesium deficient. So if you're getting cramps or you're just really exhausted, or I mean, God, there's a whole bunch of symptoms, maybe you're just getting loads of headaches, then you're probably magnesium deficient. So go and look it up, go and research magnesium deficiency, see if you have any of the symptoms. But this little bean, this chocolate, is super magnesium rich. By the way, you have to mix magnesium with calcium to get the full benefits. It can prevent osteoarthritis and osteoporosis, and it's just really amazing for your bones. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why you should eat raw chocolate. But also, it's like that bean was whole, and just like source energy, which is, you know, where everything comes from, super potent, super powerful, the isness of everything. What they do with that cacao bean is then they split it and they separate the fat and they separate the powder. And then what we're doing, and for me, it's very much like spirit and matter. You've got the light gold of the spirit and the dark, bitter, solid mass here of the cacao powder. And to me, that's like spirit and matter. Masculine of the spirit realm, with the butter melted, and the feminine of the earthy realm. And what we're doing, it's like source energy created this one thing, this one isness, and then they were split to create duality. And then what we're doing is alchemy, and we're putting the two same elements back together again, but we don't come back and get a cacao bean, we get raw chocolate, something which is incredibly amazing to eat. And I do like eating raw cacao beans straight off the tree. They're pretty phenomenal. They're pretty amazing, very, very potent. But I prefer it this way. So, get my spoon. We're going to start loading. Now, some people were like, Tara, that's sacrilege, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's just how I do it. Some people will get a sieve and do it really, really nicely with a sieve and add a little bit at a time. Not me. And you might just be going, oh my God, hold on a minute. How much are you putting in? Well, what we're going to do is add some, according to how much oil you have in your bowl. You're just going to add a few spoons, big spoons. And then I recommend having a spatula like this because it's totally the best way to do it. Tried it with spoons and everything, it's not so good. So if you have a spatula or even a large flattish backed spoon so you can smooth it, what we're going to do is show you. You can put this down here so you can see what I'm doing. It's not like stirring it like a soup, but what you're doing is smoothing the chocolate around the bowl like this to the edges. So you're basically getting the lumps, and you're scooping them up and smoothing it around the warm edge of the bowl like that. Can you see what I'm doing? I think you can see what I'm doing there. And so just using the scoopy edge of the spatula and just scooping the chocolate up from the bowl and wiping it around the edges like that, smoothing it out. So I'm going to show you through texture. Come back. I'm going to show you through texture and take Paul's comment down that I didn't mean to put up there. Ta-da! I'm going to show you through texture what's the best texture to have for your chocolate. It's a bit like gravy, you know, some people like runny gravy, some people like really thick gravy you can stand your fork in. So we're just going to judge. So this is still pretty runny. Yeah, it's not leaving any impression in the bowl. It's still pretty runny. Now if you left it like that, you'd have quite oily chocolate with not much cacao, so we don't want that. It's going to just chuck some more in. But I can almost hear my raw chocolate making friends just going, what are you doing? I told you I'm just going to do it my way. This is the Aquarian Tara way. So you just chuck it all in. Can you see that? Got the powder there. Only just nice and smooth around the edges. I'm really glad some of you did decide to join me live, you know, my first ever cooking live show. So what we're doing here is we're putting the oil and the powder, the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine, and we're chucking them back into the cauldron and we're mixing them together where they belong. Because you don't want to have the light only and you don't want to have the dark only. Be like, how would you see the stars if you didn't have the dark? How would little babies grow under bright lights? No, they need to grow in a dark and quiet space in the womb. You germinate seeds, you do it in the dark. Lots of animals come out at night and hunt in the dark. And dark is a wonderful, wonderful place to be. It's not scary, it's not threatening, except when we misuse it and we get scared and we fill the darkness with our own fears and our own ignorance. That's when we pervert and distort the darkness. But actually, it's a really beautiful thing. See, that is starting to get a bit thicker now. Still got a few lumps in it, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to come back and scoop out all the lumps at the end. I'm just going to chuck a little bit more in. So you want to keep this warm. I've just got mine on 2 at the moment, so it doesn't harden. I think I'm just going to chuck in. You probably want about the same amount of oil as you have of powder, I would say, although I've literally never ever measured. I've no idea. Guys, where are you joining me from? I've got more people joining. Hi, have you got your saucepans? Are you making chocolate with me? Lisa Madison. Oh, Madden, sorry. Lisa, darling, you want some chocolate, baby? You could, I suppose, are you getting out and about? Everyone, Lisa's just had a beautiful little baby, Emmy. Yeah, be nice to see you over Christmas, Lisa. See if you can pop up over here. It'd be super nice to see you. And Mary Catherine, oh, mwah. Hello, darlings. You're going to make yours now after you showed me. Okay, cool. And Paul's going to make some after you've been watching. Yeah, I'm natural all the way. Natural all the way. Okay, so as you can see, can you see this? It's quite lumpy because I've just chucked it in. But this is the nice bit, okay? You're refining the right consistency and it's starting to look a bit more chocolate. Forget the lumps. You see it's dribbly. Oh, it's starting to get to a good texture. Now, I think for some of you, let me get a spoon so I can show you. I think for some of you, this would probably be enough. It totally depends on how rich and dark you like your chocolate, right? So I like mine really rich. So, can you see that? That actually is starting to look like quite a good consistency. Some of you might want to stop there and go, you know what, I'm good. That's enough. But me, I'm just going to chuck in a little bit more because I know the consistency, how it looks when it's just right. I think that will be the one. So there's no sweetener or anything in this at this point, guys. This is just naturally sweetened by the oil, by the cacao butter. Right, so what I was coming back to say is this point where we're really getting all the lumps out. This is where, when I'm on my own, I go into quite a kind of meditational space and I start thinking about the people that I'm making this chocolate for. Or I start thinking of all the beautiful things that I wish for these people that I'm making my chocolate for. And it's a bit of a manifesting moment, you know, because just looking at this chocolate gives me a really good feeling in my heart. I don't know what it is. There's just something about it. It's got a certain energy. So I'm just scooping up all the little powdery lumps in there and just smoothing them around. And you want to keep it off the sides as much as possible. You just smooth it on the sides and then put it back in the bowl so it doesn't harden. And then just going backwards and forwards like that, around the edges, just to get all the lumps out. And I really like this, it's really meditative. Anybody a plasterer out there? You know what I mean, when you just want to get everything really smooth and you want to make sure your walls are smooth and not lumpy and bumpy. But anyway, whilst I'm doing this, it's like a moment of prayer for me. It's like a moment of manifesting, where I just put my good wishes, my blessings into this chocolate for happiness. And like I said, if you were watching earlier, cacao beans were a currency, a means of exchange instead of money. Before money was invented, they used, in the way that it is now anyway, they used cacao beans in South America to trade. So you can see how the richness of the chocolate, and with the history of it being used as money, it's a really good manifester for abundance and wealth. And I'm sure all of you would like to have some more abundance and wealth for yourself and for your loved ones. And it's a beautiful thing, it's a beautiful energy just to think of that. And just looking at this richness now, that's starting to get really nice. And it leaves really nice ripples, silky surface now of the chocolate. Starting to look just right. I'm actually thinking, should I put a bit more in? I'm going to taste it. Okay, let's taste it. And you want the right balance. I think that is about right, to be honest. That is about right. Now, it is super bitter. If you're making chocolate with me right now, you want to taste your chocolate and see if you've got the right balance of the solid and the oil. And if it still tastes a little bit oily, chuck a bit more cacao powder in. And you know when you've put too much powder in, because it starts to thicken really quickly. It's like, it's like when you're doing cement or something, and you know, there's a point where it just turns. So you don't want to get to that point. That's looking really nice. I don't think we've got any more lumps left in that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit more salt in mine. Now, who doesn't love a bit of salty chocolate? And you might be thinking, blech, salt in a chocolate. Why don't you think of all the khaki, nasty chocolate bars that you eat? Maybe if you're a Snickers fan or something like that, you have a look how much salt is in those chocolate bars. It's ridiculous. Anyway, don't put too much in because it will taste disgusting. So there you go. And also, at this point, while it's still really nice and oily, and before I put any nuts or anything in, or syrup, I've got some essential oils, and I like to use the organic ones. And so, you know, depending on what flavors you like, I'm going to go with some orange for Christmas. Can you see? Orange oil, sweet orange, that's called orange douce. I think that's how you say it. But I also have peppermint. Sometimes we like to have the mint chocolate. And also what you can do, and I didn't do it for today, wasn't in the mood, didn't fancy it, but what you can actually do as well is get some oranges, maybe some bigger ones than this, but depending on, you know, your own preference, and get a grater and get the really, really fine part of the grater, and you can grate this into a little heap and then put it in your chocolate, and it's actually really, really delicious. And you can also use a bit of grated ginger. But when you use grated ginger, it's watery. So the moment you put it in, the water hits the chocolate oil and it starts to solidify. So it's all right if you use a little bit. And you're making, you know, the kind of chocolate that's all kind of a bit lumpy and bumpy with nuts and stuff in, because you kind of don't notice it when you do that. But the best way is to use an oil. So if you can find like a ginger oil, or you want to have, let's say, a cinnamon flavor or a nutmeg flavor, you can obviously add those powders in as well to your liking, and we can make a really nice Christmassy flavor. What have I used in the past? Not aniseed, no, not cloves. I'm trying to think of the thing that I used to put in. Can't remember. Anyway, I'm going to use orange oil because it's really yummy, and put like 6 drops or so in, 6, 7 drops of oil, essential oil. And that smells absolutely amazing. I'm going to show you my texture over here. Again, I've just bought this new MacBook Pro, right? And I'm a bit wary of dropping it in the chocolate because I've had death by chocolate before on a MacBook. So you can see you see how silky it is? It's really nice. I could probably have chucked in a little bit more, but I'm not gonna. There we go. Anybody else actually cooking with me, making the chocolate? Thanks for hanging out, guys, by the way. I'm loving this. And putting my love and prayers into my chocolate. Pour my heart into the chocolate. Thinking of the people I love. Alrighty. So then after that, we're going to chuck in some sweetener. Now, again, you can use sugar if you want, but if you use sugar, I probably should have told you should have melted that in with the oil at the beginning. But I never use sugar in raw chocolate. It's like sacrilege. So what I really love is maple syrup. Maple syrup in chocolate is delicious, and also maple syrup's really good for hyperglycemic people. It's got quite a low glycemic index because it's straight out of a tree. It's not processed. So people who can't tolerate high amounts of sugar, really good. And my man's actually like this. He gets heartburn from sugar. I think his dad was an ice cream man and he had way too much sugar as a kid. And now he gets heartburn. So when I put this in, he doesn't. So you can also use, I mean, my goodness, stevia is a good one. I don't personally like the flavor of it, but you can use it if that's your preference and you need something that's low glycemic. You could use agave syrup. That is very sweet though. And I heard that the way that they process the agave syrup is not so good, but you know, I don't actually know about that. What else? Carob syrup is really, really yummy. Because carob, a bit like the chocolate bean, grows on trees, comes in little pods. And if you've ever eaten a carob pod, it is absolutely delicious. A dried carob pod, it sounds weird, but it's delicious. It's got this most sweet, yummy stuff inside. And when they take the syrup from it, for carob syrup, it's really, really delicious. And also what's good, yacon syrup is good. Yacon is a root, and they make syrup out of that. And all of these things are really good. So they're not sugar, they're not going to do you in, they're going to raise your insulin levels too high, and they're pretty good. So I'm just going to chuck this in. Now I've got quite a lot in here, so probably, and like I said, if it was up to me, when I'm making chocolate just for myself, I have it really quite bitter because I like things bitter. So I'm just going to taste it. Oh, that's really orangey and yummy, but it's not sweet enough. I reckon about half a bottle I'm going to end up putting in here, because Phil loves it a bit sweeter than I do. He's got a sweet tooth. So try it again. No. And you know what I find as well? Whenever I feel like, oh, I've just got the exactly right sweetness, once it hardens, it actually tastes less sweet than it did in the bowl. So what you have to do is add in just a little bit more sweetener than you would normally, because once it hardens, I don't know why, it's just a magical alchemical process. So once it hardens, it's not quite as sweet as it was in the bowl. Oh, that's starting to get rid of that. That's as sweet as I would have it personally. So I'm going to do what I said, my own advice. Always take your own advice, guys. If you're going to give out advice, make sure you do it, right? So I'm going to take my own advice, like I always do. My God, it looks so gorgeous, right? I have to show you this. I wonder if you can see it. It's the way that the sunbeams are coming in through that window. Careful with my MacBook. Careful with, oops, I don't know if you can see it. It's got the beautiful rays. It's like the angelic rays of the sun in my chocolate. Absolutely lush. I'm going to put you safely back up there before I drop my MacBook in the chocolate. I have actually had death by chocolate smoothie. See this? I make one of these in late morning. This is what I drink throughout the day. I'm not going to tell you what's in this. I know it looks like mud. It's got chocolate and some other stuff in it. It's my smoothie. I just love raw chocolate. I literally have it for breakfast and everything. But basically, I had one of these in the jar that I used to have it in, or the cup thing that I used to have it in. And I was going out to a meeting, had my really best expensive coat, my new handbag, my MacBook was in there. Everything was ready, and I put the smoothie in there because I always drink it in the car. And I had my bag, and I bent over to kiss my kid on the top of his head. He was sitting on the sofa. And the lid came off the smoothie and went all over me, all over my kid, all over the sofa, all over my MacBook. It was death by smoothie, raw chocolate smoothie. So I have to be very careful what I do with my chocolate. I'm making of this. Okay. Let me know. Anybody else making chocolate with me out there, let me know how you're doing. Or if you're just watching for fun, let me know how you're enjoying this so far. So what we're going to do, right, this is actually ready to put in a mold, because I'm going to use half of this in a mold. And here's some molds I've got ready earlier. This is one of my favorite Christmas ones, stars. But the thing is, when you try and pop the chocolate out afterwards, you get bits of chocolate stuck here, and it's not so good. So I'm not going to use that one. I got some Jelly Baby ones. I got a boy one and a girl one. I've got loads of different ones. These are quite, good. But what I'm going to go with today, probably should have wiped this out. This is one of my favourite ones, is a heart, and it's silicone. And I got it in one of those quirky little kitchen shops. We get all the little gadgets. Can't remember, Bert's Home Stores, I think it's called. I love Bert's Home Stores. Love it in there. Really cool little shop. So I'm going to wipe it out, make sure I've got any dust in it. And what I'm going to do, let me just double check that it all tastes perfectly while I'm chatting to you. I can actually turn this down, that chocolate's quite hot. That is absolutely lush. So what I'm going to do, very carefully, what you have to be aware of is these water drips. You see that coming off the bottom of the bowl? You don't want to drip your water in your chocolate mold and get water and chocolate mixed together. That's a disaster. You just make sure you're not dripping. I'm going to put that on my cloth actually. Don't drip the bottom of your bowl in your chocolate molds. Okay, so very carefully, just pour that in. And I'm only going to use about half, because that's my chocolate, and I'll share it with Lisa if she comes around to visit me. Or I come around to visit you, Lisa, with your beautiful little bubba. And I think I'm going to leave that much for Phil, or should I put more for me? I'm going to put that much for Phil, because he loves this chocolate. Alrighty, so I've got half in there. I didn't show you that part. I've got half in my bowl here. Just going to move that out of the way really, really gently. And get the other thing ready. Now you can actually use Tupperware if you want. If you want to use a Tupperware, that's also quite cool. Let's pop you back up. But these silicone things are really cool. I like them. There we go. Now this is a fun part, because we're going to get all the nuts that we chopped earlier. I'm going to chuck them in here. And then we're going to get all the other nuts. What are you putting in your chocolate? Let me know. Or if you're not making yours right now, what is your favourite ingredients to put in chocolate? There's loads of cashew nuts in there. I didn't chop up the cashews because Phil likes everything really, really chunky. And I'm making this chocolate for him. I'm going to put in these yummy mulberries. Let me show you again. These things are absolutely yummy as anything. They're like little toffee dried berries. Nom nom. Carrie, you're with me. Hello, darling. How lovely to see you. You couldn't find the cocoa butter? Okay. You need to get it from Detox Trading. But if you're still in America, I don't know where you get it from. So I'm going to put in 2 handfuls. Oh, can you see that? Yummy! You know, I might even put a bit more salt for Charlie. He likes it really salty. I'm going to put in some goji berries. Can't go wrong with goji berries. They're so good for you. Full of antioxidants. How to get your loved ones healthy without them knowing. Yeah. I tell you what, I've been a bit naughty with my chocolate in the past, I can tell you. Because there's all kinds of amazing herbs, dried flowers and powders and superfoods. I'm not going to tell you all now, because there's quite a lot of them that you can get that are aphrodisiac or that a little bit, you know, give you a nice little buzz. Completely legal, all just totally nice herbal, natural plants, and you can find those kinds of ingredients if you want and put those in your chocolate. And make sure you give them to adults, not children. And tell people what you're putting in. Don't spike people, okay? Not that you can really do that with those ingredients in too much of a strong way. Put more of that in. More of that in. Actually, I'm going to put some pecans in as well. Some of these. And I'll tell you what, Phil really, really loves his Brazil nuts, so I'm just going to chuck in a handful of really fat ones. And you know what you can do as well? If you want to be really creative and artistic, just pour the chocolate into the mold like I've done over here, like that. And then you can literally just put the fruits and the nuts on the top. You can do it in nice little patterns. My friend Sandrine, who lives here, I have two French friends, Lisa and Sandrine, and I love them both. And I taught Sandrine how to make the chocolate, and she made it so beautifully. It looked like something out of a magazine, not like this schlop, because she put the chocolate and she bought special mold, and then she laid out all the nuts and the fruits all like that really neatly in different rows, and it looked really, really beautiful. So, but that's not how I do it. So I'm just going to taste this now, see if it's good. You know what, that is so yummy. I'm not going to add a bit more salt at this point. I think it's the wrong point to add salt. Hey Phil.
Hello, beautiful. You've got chocolate all over your mouth.
Have I?
You have.
Come and say hello.
I'll say hello now.
Phil's over there. Have you got enough nuts in there?
Looks great. Come on, give me a time. Stick it in my mouth.
Stick it in your mouth. You have to wait, darling. Okay. Hey, just chuck it in the bowl. You guys, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just, if I ever have to do choc cooking again, I'm going to go and get some tips from some pros on how to do it online with a proper setup. There we go. What did you put in your chocolate, guys? What do you want to put in your chocolate? What flavour would you have? You have orange oil like me. You mix them together, ginger and orange together. It's super yummy. And I'm just going to flatten that out. And you can see now, some of you, let's have a look what I'm doing. There you go. You might not all want to have such densely packed chocolate as this one. This is how Phil likes it. It's got a little bit too much nuts over there. I need to have a bit more chocolate over there. There you go. Get it even. Because he's a bloke. He's a proper bloke. He doesn't need things soft and dainty. And so I just make sure it's really thick and chunky for him, because that's how he likes it. And I like mine smooth and dark. So there you go. A bit messy. So you're going to look for rose petals. Yes, I've had chocolate with little rosebuds, little dried rosebuds you can get. They're fantastic in chocolate. They make it look absolutely beautiful. And cranberries. Okay, that's your favourite. Nice, Carrie. Lovely. What is Camilla Michael Kifaldi? What are you talking about, Carrie? No idea what you're on about. All right, so that's my chocolate. And then, let me bring you in here, because you're just going to leave that. Now, if you want to carry it to the fridge and put it in the fridge, let me give you a piece of advice. Get a chopping board something similar to this, flat, nice and flat. And what you have to do, because if you try and carry that, it's going to tip up. You're going to, because I've got a silicone thing, it's not flat. It's different if you've got one of these, it doesn't matter. But if you've got a silicone, you're going to have to kind of drag it off like this and not drop it on the floor. There you go. See how I did that? Quite skillful. And then you've got something, and put that in the fridge like that, and then you can move it more easily. Because otherwise, if I try and pick this one up, if I try and pick that up, you can imagine it's going to go everywhere. Don't want to do that. And then, very simply, let me bring you in here. I'm so proud of this. Let me show you this. I'm so happy in this house. I have this beautiful kitchen, but then there's this little kind of bar area. That's where I keep loads of my superfoods down there, and the vitamins I make Philly, and my blender over there. And I also have a whole bunch more superfoods over there. I literally, it's like superfood heaven. I have my little bar. I love it. I've got all kinds of stuff down here. It's like being a little witch making your potion. So then what you can do, welcome to my dining room. I didn't put the fairy lights on. I totally forgot to put them on for you. And then what you can do, right, is when your chocolate, especially if you've made it into the little molds, no, I showed you the little molds and you want to get them out and you make them into presents for people. It's really good if you wrap them individually. So what I do is just literally get some tin foil and cut it into strips. And then you just put the chocolate, each one in there, fold it up and make it nice and sealed. And then I find a nice little box and put them all in. And I like to have all the different shapes. I've got love heart ones and star ones and flower ones, all these different shapes. And then I can just wrap up their little box of chocolates. And I posted some to my friends and my family in UK. So you guys, when you get them, let me know how it tastes. Do you know what I forgot to do? I was so busy chatting away with you guys. What I forgot to do for Phil's chocolate, might actually not be too late for me to do this. I can actually do this. So what to do with Phil's chocolate, because he likes his really milky. Now I don't. I'm not a milk fan, not milky chocolate fan. But he does. He doesn't like it so dark. So what I do, shall I do this? Shall I tip it out and make it milky for him, or leave it? Let me ask him. Phil, I was so busy chatting to everyone, I forgot to put, yeah, do you want me to put the milk in, or do you want it the way it is? Are you sure? Yeah. It will last longer. So that's the thing, I don't put milk in, but if you're a milk person and you want to put milk in, put milk in. Yeah, we have, and actually let me show you what milk I have. Lisa knows what kind of milk I have. Oat milk, and this one, the barista version, is so creamy and yummy. And Phil's a non-dairy person, doesn't eat cheese and stuff like that. And I eat cheese, but I don't drink milk. So what you can do is, whilst all the nuts and everything, or whilst your chocolate is still in the bowl, now if you're going to use vegan milk, it's made with water. You've got to remember that, and water and chocolate don't mix. So oat milk is made with oats and water. So when you put this in there, it hardens quite quickly. So you have to move fast. If you're using cow milk, it's completely different and it won't have the same effect. But I do recommend, because this is just slightly warm, turn this off now actually. Because this is warm, if you put cold milk in, it's gonna harden, or it's gonna do something. I'm not quite sure what, maybe it'll go lumpy because I never use actual cow milk. So you want to just warm it up ever so slightly, not hot because we're making it raw, and mix it into your chocolate. But if, like me, you want it vegan, because then your chocolate is totally, it's got no sugar, it's got no artificial fats, it's got no artificial sugars, it's totally vegan. And so it makes it, and you won't believe how delicious it is as well. It's totally, absolutely lush. So good. You could actually, put it all over your skin if you want to. That's quite a nice little Christmas treat for you lovebirds out there, if you want to feed each other chocolate and you can put it on your skin, it's so good. So let me get back to what I was saying. When you mix vegan milk, it's made with water, so it can go lumpy. So you have to just like have it ready, stir it in really fast. Again, don't put too much, because you put too much and your chocolate won't harden, especially because we've got coconut oil in this chocolate, and it's going to be the kind of melting temperature is much lower, so it will be much more, it'll be less hard and crisp. So to get a really nice consistency, again, I don't have measurements, but you just put a slop in, stir it a little bit more and go, okay, that's enough. You want to keep a good strong consistency, and then you whack it in the fridge and it will harden and you'll have a really creamy flavor. But when you make it with milk, because we haven't got all the artificial preservatives and all the crap in it, you've got to realize that milk's going to go off in a few days. So that means, oh dear, that you're going to have to eat your chocolate really, really fast and not let it go off. Oh, it's terrible. All right, guys, let me know how you like my Christmas chocolate making workshop. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't believe I'm a little bit embarrassed with my own self. I'm like, what am I doing? There you go. It's been such fun hanging out with you. Let me know if you like this video, and share it with other people if they want to have a good laugh. And also let me know how your chocolate turns out. You can send me some. I could be your official taster. I'll send you my address. And what I'm going to do as well is put I'm an affiliate with, I've literally teamed up with these guys. I partnered with Detox Trading in the UK because, look at that, I've got chocolate under my fingernails. I partner with these guys because I love them. They're a family. It's a dad and his 2 kids that run this business. They're obviously young adults now. They're all adults. He's not slave laboring his children, but the 3 of them run Detox Trading in the UK. I love them. And so I've partnered with them and I've become an affiliate. So it's really good for me if you shop through my affiliate link and go and get your cacao butter and your cacao powders and all your other potions and magic powders and your nuts and everything else from them. Of course, if you're in the UK, that works. And if you're in Europe, I recommend Nuts in Bulk. I'm not affiliated with them. They're just good. If you're in the other parts of the world, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Mwah. I hope you all have a really, really wonderful holiday season. It's a good job we didn't start getting into talking about Christmas and Christians and Jesus. But blessings and love to everybody, doesn't matter what you believe in, whatever's real for you. Whether you just like a winter solstice celebrant like me, I love the solstices. I love observing the old kind of pagan druidic ways. It's just in my blood. And so solstice is a magical time, and we are on the 3rd day of solstice today, the 22nd of December. So whatever your celebration is, enjoy, give your love, receive the love, don't hold back, tell everyone you love them. Life is too short. Feed your loved ones with chocolate, the food of the gods, and it's really healthy and nutritious too. Get rid of all the sugar and the crap and give them some good stuff. And just be in peace, guys. Find your inner peace, love one another, love yourself. And I very much look forward to seeing you in the new year. By the way, if you haven't yet received my enormous Christmas gift that I worked on for months and months and months for you guys, and that is Self-Love Club. Now you might think, what is that? You know, how do you do something called Self-Love Club? Sounds a little bit dodgy. Actually, it's a place where you can get access to a library of guided by me self-love healing meditations. They're all somewhere between 15 minutes and 25 minutes. Actually, some of them are longer. There's some manifestation journeys in there. There's some self-care rituals in there. There's reflection tasks and exercises for you to do to break out of your old habits and really love yourself, whether it's just skin deep or whether you want to go deep, 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 deep into your inner childhood wounding, into some deeper issues, and heal your relationships, heal yourself. I used to sell this. This was a thing I had on offer for £10 a month membership. And I just decided, you know what I want in this world, and not just for Christmas, is a world full of people who are loving themselves as they would wish their loved ones to be loved by them. Love yourself the way you want others to love you. Love yourself the way that you want to love others. And the more that you love yourself unconditionally, and the more you heal yourself through the power of unconditional love, the more love you can genuinely love and connect with other people on a much more authentic and totally beautiful level. And I want there to be more love in this world. I want world peace. I want to see a world with people who are awake and conscious and loving and have peace in their heart and are not going to inflict violence and harm to others and to the planet and to be really screwing up the children and doing, you know, some horrific things which people have been doing on this planet for a long time to our kids. And you know what, if I can do anything in my lifetime, it's to do my part to stop all of that. And I can only do a little bit. But together we can all do a lot. So give your gifts, do what you do, share your light, share your knowledge with others. And also, guys, go and join Self-Love Club. It's all totally free. It's unlimited. It's not like I'm going to block you in a month's time and say, sorry, you need to pay me now. And it's no strings attached. It's an unconditional gift. I just want you to use it, heal from it, love yourself from it, start to really glow, and your vibe is so high and you're just, you know, being so magnetic and attractive to good stuff in your life, and you're magnifying all this wonderful energy and impacting others around you. So I want you to use it for yourself, and then I want you to share it with everybody. Share it with everyone. Give it to your teenagers, give it to your mom, share it with your mates, share it with people on your social media channels. Just give it out if you feel like that's the kind of world you want to live into. Now, I know that self-love and the method that I've used with people, I Love You Me method, it totally works. It's like a miracle cure for it. I can't say that legally. It's brilliant, is what I'm going to say. There's loads and loads of testimonials. I've had miracle stories from all over the world, people using it. So just go use it, totally free, share it with everyone else. I feel like if there was, you know, let's put a number on it. Let's say if there was 100,000 people in the world, and that's not a big number, but if there was 100,000 people in the world using Self-Love Club and using I Love You Me method, raising their vibration and healing themselves, that would be quite a cool impact. That would be a pretty cool ripple effect. And then I'm thinking, you know what? Once we reach 100,000 people in the Self-Love Club, conscious, beautiful people all connecting together, what about we went to 1 million people? And I know there's like nearly 8 billion people on this planet, so 1 million is still like a little drop in the ocean. However, 1 million people switched on to unconditional self-love, and therefore loving other people, emanating that love, changing the way that they relate to everything in their life and the way that they relate to everyone else. What an impact that would make. That would be a much bigger ripple impact. So that's my vision. I'm holding that vision right now. First level goal is 100,000 people. Second level goal is 1 million people using Self-Love Club. I've just given it all. It's like I just made it and I just want you guys to use it. I don't want anything for it except that you use it and then tell me how it worked for you and share your story and inspire and uplift and motivate and help others, right? Because we're all in this together, you and I. We're all in this, and we want a world with more love and more peace and more harmony, and stop harming the planet and stop harming the kids and stop harming each other and stop harming yourself, okay? That's my Christmas wish. That's what I wish for all beings. That's what I stirred into my chocolate. And I really do love you, from one human being to another, my heart, my soul, to your heart and soul. I love you, love you, love you. So go spread love, love yourself, and I'll see you next year. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for joining me. I'm a pagan baby. Bye, guys. Oh, just reading your comments now before I switch you off. Thank you, guys. It's so lovely. Thanks for watching, Bernie. Thanks for hanging out with me the whole time, Paul. You're such a love. And the guys, I'll see you soon. Love ya.